Welcome to our case study masterclass. Everyone, we got Varun in the house, part of LinkUp. We actually go way back. We know each other before LinkUp as well. And his story is very unique. The results speak for themselves, but when we were speaking about, whether he wanted to come to LinkUp and share his story in the form of a case study, because I feel like it's very relatable to everyone inside the community, because I can pretty much coach you to death, right? I can tell you everything you need to do, but hearing it from someone who's like super close and has freshly experienced the journey, I feel like it's a different kind of conversation and a different kind of masterclass. So that's what we're here to do today. Varun, the stage is yours, and if you want to give your intro, I have a different intro for you, but if you want to give us like the actual story with all the details, looking forward to it, man. Thank you for being here and good luck.
Are you planning to give an intro? Then I'll just rely on you to give the
No, no,
intro.
no. The stage is yours. Look,
Okay.
I remove myself from the screen. There you go.
Okay. First of all, before even I share my intro, I have been part of many, many communities over the past many years in my journey as an entrepreneur. And I have to say that the activation energy, the feel good energy that Yasmin has created in this community and the community has created in here as well is unmatched. I have to definitely give you flowers there, Yasmin. Awesome. Thank you.
That means a lot, my man, genuinely. And best believe I will cut this video for those 30, 40 seconds and use it as a testimonial. So thank you for that, my man.
Absolutely. All right. I'm going to start sharing my screen. I always feel a slide deck is helpful to kind of speak on this topic and then share my story with you guys. While I am doing that, what I would love to do is something I've realized lately is that we need to set intention for our time to make use of our time. And this is like 16 years into my corporate career, a few years into my entrepreneurship career. So better late than never. But I would love for you guys to put in the chat. You don't know a lot of what I'm going to be sharing today. So, with that caveat, what do you think is the intention for your next 60 minutes for you? What are you wanting to take out of that? So, I would love for you guys to write in the chat while I kind of bring the slide on. What's the intention for the next 60 minutes for you today?
People are saying, learn, learn, learn. My intention is to get a small piece into my puzzle. That's a nice way to put it. There we go. My intention is to be a sponge and to learn from you and others. Learn how to
Right.
make money on LinkedIn, big puzzle piece. There we go. You got the answers as well. You love to see how someone else built their business, then compare and contrast. There we go. Learn and get clarity, develop more belief. Are we going to make 100K in the next 60 minutes? That's a good question. Good luck, Varu. Good luck. Looking forward to this, man.
Awesome. So, hi everybody. I'm Varun Gandhi. Love the intention that you guys have set for this call. I'm going to share my journey of how I went from literally $0 in earning anything from outside of my day job to making $100,000 in the last 3 years on LinkedIn. And Yasmin and this community is a big part of that. So I'm really happy to share that story with you. So it is good to kind of match everybody where they are, right? We all have some reason that we are in a community like this or are starting our LinkedIn journey. For me, there were three reasons. One of the big reasons why I wanted to move out of corporate was lifestyle design. I want to be able to work from anywhere. I spent 6 months in India last year for my sister's wedding, my cousin's wedding. So I'm glad that I've been able to kind of get to a position where I've been able to make a life like that. The next one is that I started sharing that I have been part of many entrepreneurship groups and many entrepreneurship community. I did theory for many, many years before I actually put it in practice. So I want to pay forward whatever I've learned from people like Ramit Sethi, Seth Godin, Wes Cow, Yasmin is included in this list as well. So that is one of the reasons too. The next one is in my engineering career, I felt like a very tiny screw that in this big machine, if the screw fell off, it was not impacting anybody. Somebody might not even put the screw back, right? I would love to believe that they would try to put it back and find somebody, but I was not able to make an impact directly in somebody's life. Now, some people can understand that, kind of accept that, and see like, okay, I am playing a small part in a big overall picture. I was just not able to do that. I wanted to make an impact in a person's life if I could. And having done that, I feel grateful to be able to do that. So that was one of the big reasons why I started on this journey. Now, the thing is, starting on this journey to the last 3 years on LinkedIn, I have been able to make $100,000 through my company called Beyond Grad, where I help senior level, senior individual contributors in the US find a better job. But my main mission behind the company is to kind of meet people where I was at some point, which is after your job, after you graduate, you still have to learn a lot of real life skills in the corporate world, in the creator world, in the entrepreneurship world. I want to be the one sharing my story, my example there. So that's why I started Beyond Grad. Right now, it is focused on job search. That is my way of entering into the market. Now, there is also a big fuel for growth is the LinkedIn posts. So I'm having a hard time a little bit with Zoom, where Zoom is flashing everybody's screen for me right now. I don't know why. So just know that sometimes if I just get stuck, then I'm just struggling with Zoom right now. But the big fuel for the growth was the 819 posts that I wrote on LinkedIn. Now you see a lot of big numbers there. I can assure you that I've been struggling the same way a lot of us are struggling right now on LinkedIn. So a lot of the impressions that you see have are actually impressions from 2023, 2024, and I'm still kind of in the same boat. And the and yeah, 24K comments, right? If you are part of Yasmin's community, you should be commenting immensely there. So reach an audience is one thing, volume matters, but volume alone did not make the money. And I'll share you exactly what made the money, the mistakes that I did, and how I over relied on impressions as well. All right. So, what we'll cover today is models of monetization that I use to get to 100K. I have a catalyst challenge, what I call a 5 minute challenge for everybody here. Some of you I see are outdoors and may not be able to do this challenge, or a phone is all you need to do it. So, catalyst challenge one, sales versus service funnel. This is something that helped me be an entrepreneur, the kind of entrepreneur I wanted to be. Catalyst challenge two, mistakes and misconceptions. That's what we are going to cover today. So part one is models of monetization. How did I get to 100K? So interestingly, when I looked back and did this analysis, the revenue was divided into 5 different streams. There was hybrid coaching, so one-on-one plus group coaching, one-on-one coaching only. So this is something that a lot of people here might be doing as well. Brand partnerships was 8%, cohorts and courses. Courses is actually where I started, but it is the smallest chunk. What I was surprised by when I did this analysis is how much one-on-one coaching and hybrid coaching came into the picture. So here are like different products and pricing that I created. The reason why I'm sharing this slide is because I want to share that experimentation is so vital when we are beginning, right? We do not know the answer to what will get us from 0 to 100K. Right now, I don't know what the answer will be to go from 100K to, let's say, 7 figures. I I don't know the answer. I know all the theory, but you have to put things in practice and test. So this slide is about all the different things that I tested. If nothing else, I want you guys to relate to how it's so messy, this world of creating a living for yourself. So I first started with a performance review product in November 2022. It was a $350 cohort that I was going to host on Maven. Now, I had no following. I was not from big brand logo in the US like a Google or a Meta or anything like that. So there wasn't a lot of social proof that was coming to me from the company logo. I had essentially no trust. And what I realized was that nobody bought that product. 20 people in the waiting list, but when it came time to exchange money, nobody bought. So that made me realize that, okay, I need to do something where I am able to gain trust, I am able to gain social proof. So I started writing on LinkedIn. And then I had about 3,000 followers in April 2023. And I created a digital course, $150, how to get promoted. I thought, oh, 350, too much, maybe 150. Maybe people don't want to do cohorts with me. Let's just do a digital course. Only six people bought in about 6 months or so. And I was pushing that product relatively decently. Obviously, I can look back and say I can do much better, but that's what my second attempt was. The third attempt, which was moderately successful, was a student cohort. So, a cohort designed for students. So, I was now starting to niche down. My offer was getting better. So, now I was helping people with job search, which is more painful than maybe getting promoted or the performance reviews. So I was getting better with my offer strategy and my niching down. So that was a $10,000 launch. Some people bought the $2,500 version of the pricing. Some people bought 505% of their salary. What I realized was that students was a very tough market. They could do all the right things and still have a hard time finding a job. And then a part of the niche was also I was attracting a lot of fellow immigrants in the US that have an inherently hard time. So that test one taught me the difference between a tough market and a good market. It also taught me that percentage pricing just includes a lot of risk. So you might be a creator, you might be helping other businesses, and you will be thinking, okay, how can I maybe take a cut of their top line or their bottom line? Great idea and something you can definitely pitch. Know that there is an inherent risk in how you do that because out of the 10 people who bought the product, five people got roles, six people got roles, three had bought the $2,500 one, three had bought the $500 one. Only three of them gave me the 5%. The other four, I think, have either ghosted me or have done something else where they didn't feel like they were getting a job in the US. So there is an inherent risk here. Another thing I realized was this could only be possible once I tested that market and know which one I wanted to work with. The next one, I moved on to a different niche. So I was now working with experienced professionals in the US. Now I had a hybrid program and a one-on-one program. So $3,000 or 6,000. This is where I got a lot more students. And this was all focused a little bit more on one, some group elements. So essentially, the early client that you choose matters a lot. They were able to pay more because they had more discretionary income. The transformation would also help them earn more. So I was able to charge more. And then I also realized that there has to be a very big service element, especially when we are beginning out, because there is not a lot of trust. So you can't really rely on a volume product in the beginning. So the early customer really helped. The next one I tested was pausing the hybrid and doing one-on-one only. Interestingly, with the $3,000 one, I was doing 70% of the work that I was doing for a one-on-one client, but I was only making 50% of the revenue. So I tested pausing the hybrid product and doing one-on-one only, and that is still what the core product is for me. I think Pooja asked a question. I'm trying to kind of glance at the chat as much as possible. Performance reviews is in the US, in the corporate world, there are performance reviews that happen at the end of every year. I'm sure that's the case in most countries, even in India, probably. Then, in that case, you want to show up really well in that whole process because your promotion is decided on that, your bonus is decided on that. So I thought I'll help them do that because I went from a engineer to a senior engineer, staff engineer to a partner at a consulting company. So I thought I had that trust to kind of build that product. Awesome. Finally, last year, I tried now going back to the cohort model. I was like, let's see, now that I have these many followers, is there volume in it? So again, I kept on testing new iterations. This time the cohort was $500, only focused on helping people with interviews. So a subsection of my core product. That I did 3 cohorts, 11 students, which is pretty decent, not bad at all. For me at this point, I was hoping the volume to be higher. So I scaled back, and I'll talk more about what I'm going to try next. But I scaled back to see what can be the next iteration. By the way, I'll take a pause here. I wanted to kind of show everybody this entire testing that I have done so far. I know I haven't gone through the chat yet, but I would love for everybody to say yes or no, whether this is relatable for you or whether this data uh, helps you. So maybe a thumbs up or a yes or no would be great. So I see a few thumbs up.
I
Yes,
can tell you
incredible.
immediately, my man, they're loving it and they're loving the transparency of it. One of the comments that stuck with me was, not everyone would be willing to share these numbers so openly. So thank you for that. I also want to point out to everyone, don't get it twisted. Look at the dates and the years and look at where most of the progress had happened in this journey, meaning this is a 3-year timeline. So keep that in mind for context. This is a 3-year timeline. And look at where all the mistakes were made, even with plenty education, even with plenty paying for resources and getting educated on what to do. But figuring it out for yourself and actually testing and iterating and doing all the right things, this happens in between. For some of us, it happens sooner, luckily. But for some of us, it's just part of the journey and you just have to fail a couple of times before you do it right. And even after you do it right, you still iterate. You still try to change the model. You'll still test new offers. So yeah, genuinely, just for me personally, thank you, Adam, for sharing these. And this is a really visually just a nice, neat layout. It's so easy to understand. So thank you.
Appreciate that. And I'm looking at the comments. Awesome. So that's the exact takeaway I wanted to get out of this. All right, moving on. So one kind of footnote is that I did do brand partnerships. One thing, as you get more LinkedIn following, sometimes even when you don't have a lot of LinkedIn following, but a niche following, you can get brand partnerships. And I was having a quick conversation with my wife early 20, like mid 2023, about, oh, I haven't used this tool yet. Should I really promote this product? And she gave me examples of all my favorite sports people, all my favorite actor and actresses. And they're like, dude, do you think the biggest actor in the world is using incense sticks in his house, which are mass market incense sticks? It's not, they're not. So just do what you think is right and then iterate based on the data that you see as well. So another example of testing and iterating as we go along. All right, so 3 things that I noticed, a lot of which a lot of you have already mentioned in the chat and Yasmin has mentioned as well. One takeaway for me was when audience is smaller, and I still consider that I'm not really a popular creator on LinkedIn, I still consider my audience size to be not a very high volume audience size. So smaller audience, high ticket offers are better because they give you revenue that helps your life. Now, if you already have a really good corporate job that you are very happy with and you want to test cohorts or you want to test courses right from the get-go, then fine. Just be aware that when the audience is smaller, high ticket is almost better where in making a living out of the work that you are doing. The next one is the most critical one of this is that each model has emotion. Yasmin is doing community over cohorts and courses, for example, because he has some kind of an emotion associated with it as well as financial considerations. A lot of us are emotional about one type of way that we want to earn a living. We need to be just cognizant of what that emotion is, test the emotion of models that we are not doing, and see if there's anything there that we would love to test. So, as I have shared with you, one-on-one coaching brought the most amount of revenue. That was something I was most against when I thought of me being a creator or me being an entrepreneur, because I had learned from all of these people like Ramin Sethi, Seth Godin, Wes Cow, and they did essentially digital courses. And I was like, yes, I want to make my living creating digital courses. Times have changed. People have changed. AI has come in. So a lot of it is essentially figuring out which model actually works for your client at this point of time in their life and what works for you as well. So this one is a big one that I had to accept as I was learning. Three is that as you grow, you definitely have more options. So now, as I have grown from 0 followers to 84,000 followers, something around that, mm, there are more options. So my brand deals are slightly more expensive or slightly more pricier. I can charge a lot more with my one-on-one now because I have trust and social proof, something that I was missing in my first product. So as you grow in this journey, you know that your options will increase. So at this point, Yasmin, checking time, I think we are decent. We
Yeah,
could probably do
we're
a
good.
we could probably do a 2 minute catalyst challenge where we can put a timer for 2 minutes. And I want
Okay.
to ask everybody to do kind of an emotion audit for them. So I would like them to pick one monetization model that they've been avoiding. And I want to just ask themselves, what's the emotion underneath the avoidance? And I think it is just that's the only thing I want to surface at this point because we don't have a lot of time. But I think I want them to drop in the chat the model and emotion that they are feeling with it because I just want them to start playing with different monetization models. Okay. I see some come in already.
So remember, guys, also drop the emotion for
Yes.
why
Also
you've been
drop the
avoiding
emotion,
it.
please.
So don't just drop the model of the business that you want to do. Drop the emotion that's making you avoid doing that particular business model.
Nice. I see Angela says community, too much work and time. I think Yasmin, you can speak to this completely
Yeah.
as to how people can yes, every emotion you have for a monetization model, trust me, is valid. If you think communities are hard, they are hard. If you think one-on-one is you coming into the crosshairs that, oh, I will have to kind of work for this person, I would have to give them results. Every emotion is true. And at the same time, I will say there is somebody out there that is making millions of dollars with that particular model in your particular niche. So I just want to kind of bring all of that out. So Valentine says done for you, or maybe this is a one-on-one service, not even a one-on-one coaching. So we are taking a layer up beyond that, too much work. Okay. Maham says one-on-one coaching. Maham, what would be that emotion? Avoiding law firms. Self-doubt is the feeling behind it. Self-doubt meaning you won't be able to convert them or you won't be able to deliver for them. I think going a level deeper would be great in Preet. Pooja says model one-on-one catching emotion, just not sure. Okay, interesting. Um, Isam says monetization model mean monetization model are different ways you can earn a living in this entrepreneurship. So there's one-on-one coaching. So there's either done for you, which is generally a service or an agency of some kind. Then there is done with you, which is one-on-one coaching, group coaching. Then there is do it yourself, that is generally courses or paid PDFs, stuff like that. Even within like done with you, there's coaching, there is cohorts, there is courses. That's what I mean by monetization model. Okay, Mansi says a one-on-one coaching myself. Cohort I am avoiding, and fear is nobody will like it. Vladimir, completely relate to it. I will go one step further and say one of my earliest fears was nobody will buy it. Guess what? That fear came true. The first product that I created, literally nobody bought. Nobody, probably not even my wife remembers that product. So trust me, nobody will remember this after a year if you had a failed launch or anything like that. So, but I relate to that, and it did really happen. My fears really came true. So I'm just scrolling through, but these are great comments. So everybody has something that they are avoiding, either cohort or one-on-one or coaching. And I love that everybody can describe the emotion that they are feeling. I think with more time, what I would love for everybody to do is to go deeper as to why you feel that way. I know that when you are building a 100K business, in the beginning at least, there is advice that you have to just focus on one thing and get that one thing right. I do see merit in that advice. Sometimes some advice may not fit with you. In this case, just doing one monetization model did not fit with me. I wanted to test a few different things, and so this is my way of sharing. Maybe you need to kind of give the monetization model that you are avoiding a shot just to see how that feels for you. Maybe that is the ticket that gives you the next level of growth that you are looking for, which it did for me with the one-on-one coaching. Didn't want to do it, wanted to avoid it, but that's what got me mostly to the point that I have come so far. Which is not to say it is what will take me to the next level. That's also a point. All right, this is great. I'll move on. We have the second part, which is sales versus service funnel. So this is a little bit kind of a part of me that will share a little bit of the spirituality behind entrepreneurship. We all have a choice to do what we want to do. We can either work in a job, we can do a lot of social service, we can start a business. I feel that spiritually, there is something that is calling you towards one thing. A lot of people are here. I'm guessing there is some element of spirit that is giving you or asking you to pursue this direction of being an entrepreneur or having your own business or trying to create an income using this thing that you are in here for. This is where I am trying to bring in that part that I'll share here. So normally, this is the type of sales funnel that all businesses have. It is about strategically moving people down the funnel. So in the beginning, in the top layer, you're generating leads. This is by writing on social media, you're getting attention. This is by doing Facebook ads. Then the next step is you qualify the lead. One-on-one coaches will have a call or a application. People who have uh, businesses like courses and cohorts will have a lead magnet that, oh, people who bought this lead magnet have qualified as a lead for me. And then you sell them something, you sell them another thing, and you keep reselling that customer. So you are trying to get a lot of lifetime value out of it. You're trying to increase the average order value of the client. You're essentially trying to move people down the funnel. And some people go off at different stages, which is why it is a funnel shape. So it keeps on going smaller and smaller. Not all leads will be qualified, not all qualified leads will buy. Hence the sales funnel. Just spend a few times because some time here because this is something that I had to learn as somebody who had was born to play a corporate job. So I studied engineering. I was not taught any of this. So I thought I'll spend a minute sharing what a sales funnel is. What I am trying to do differently is I'm trying to create a service-based funnel. So it's not widely different from a sales funnel. It's just my intention, just how we started this call, setting intention. It's just my intention of doing this business. I want to serve at every level of commitment that a person is ready for. Then, if you are happy at that commitment level, then so be it. I'm trying to go away from the fact a little bit about moving people down, or in copywriting, they call this the slippery slope. And again, businesses are created on that. So it's not a slimy thing, it's not a sleazy thing. It's just something that I'm trying to find my way through it. And I wanted to share with you all today. So the 5 layers or the 5 tiers of this service funnel is no commitment. If you don't want to give me any commitment, I'm happy to serve you. And I use social media for this. So if you notice my LinkedIn posts, and Yasmin might have so much feedback, critical feedback for me, they are very value based. Like I'm trying to give you frameworks, I'm trying to give you strategies, a lot of like top funnel and mid funnel content in my social media. But if you only want that, if you only want the free content, I'm happy with that. Then there is a micro commitment. Okay, I want to give some micro commitment to learning from you. In this case, it might be newsletters, signing up for that. It can be signing up for the lead magnets. It can be signing up for my webinars. I want to make sure that for that commitment layer, I have something that helps you get to the point that you want to go to. The next one is low commitment. So think of this as an impulse purchase, that I want to commit a little bit of my money to keep myself accountable. But if this is not a huge amount of money, so in that case, I can deliver something like a paid PDF or a digital course. It's easier for me to create, and it is easier for you to consume based on the commitment level that you're coming at. The next one is mid commitment. Now I'm hoping to put in some time. I'm actually putting a bit more money to get the transformation I need. And in this case, this can be anywhere from $300 to $1,000 cohort-based programs, or it does not need to be cohort. It has to be something where they are commitment to a higher level. And then finally, there is high commitment, that I want to make this change happen. I want the best path going forward. And I still want to do high ticket coaching for a few people who are ready to commit to that level. So this is at least true for now. In the future, it might be different. Yasmin, for example, did a lot of hourly coaching. That's how I got introduced to him. I paid him for his expertise and his time.
Thank you very
And
much.
then he created a community. Go ahead, Yasmin.
Thank you very much for paying.
No brainer. So, uh, Yasmin, I think it would be great for you to come in. Like at this point, if you have to look at this service-based funnel, now that you started the community, I know you still do a little bit of one-on-one coaching. Am I right in assuming that?
So here's the deal with me, right? I can speak from personal experience, and my experience is not necessarily reflected one to one for everyone, right? It has a lot to do with what you're passionate about in terms of work, how your brain operates, and the level of comfort you have, comparing one-to-one coaching and group coaching and or cohorts and then so on and so forth. Not everyone loves cohorts. Not everyone loves group coaching. They can do it, right? They can do it, but they don't love it. And long term, it becomes a problem. My whole thing, why I always was so hell bent on one-to-one coaching, is because I genuinely loved it. Mind you, when I introduced my one-on-one coaching offer, before that, the group coaching style that I had in my work was teaching academia. And it was usually, 50 plus, 125 plus students at a time. So I was tired, man. I was genuinely tired of all the groups, right? So one to one felt just like a blessing. I enjoyed it a lot more. And a lot of people were asking me, like, dude, you could be making 10x. And I was like, I know, but I don't want to because I love it this way. I'm enjoying my work. And no matter how many, one-on-one coaching calls I've done, people would still say, you could be making 10x more. And I'm like, I know. So that's number one. Do what you love and genuinely lean into it. Otherwise, you're going to hate it long term. And I've seen what happens on the other side of the coin. It's when people actually do pay me for the coaching and they're like, hey, dude, I do have, a lot of work, but I'm hating it. And I'm like, yeah, we got to realign and we got to kind of like make you pivot. The other part is getting yourself booked out. It's not an easy feat, but it's also a very simple feat. Like when you have a repeatable result for a lot of customers and you can actually prove it, and then the customers start talking about you, they're raving about you and their results, right? And it's kind of like all roads lead back to Yasmin, right? That's what happened with me and my coaching. So for 4 years in a row now, I am not looking for any one-on-one coaching clients because my calendar is always booked out. And a lot of the people here from the community, like they don't know it, but sometimes I'll drop this little info bomb, and that is every member of this community has 50% off for my one-to-one coaching. Every time I say this, at least 5 or 10 people message me like, Yasmin, really? I did not know this. How did I not know this? And then they message me and then they're like, can we do one-on-one coaching? And I'm like, I do not have a calendar. I genuinely do not have a calendar. And then I just tell them, I'll put you on the wait list and then I'll just text you if anything pops up. And when something pops up for me it's typically when I'm traveling, like that's when I'll empty out my calendar and it's like, hey dude, it's raining outside. I'll be free for the next 3 hours. Can you make it? And it's first come, first serve. So getting yourself booked out, that's genuinely one of the biggest blessings, but it's also like something to aspire to do so that then, number three, you can focus on other offers. I didn't want to focus on other offers until I got myself booked out. Genuinely, I didn't want to focus. Or until I reached that point where it was like, I'm charging so much compared to everyone else in my industry, where I'm like, Yasmin is number one spot, then they're like 9 spots empty, then everyone else. And it genuinely felt like that, even just objectively looking at it. And everyone else was asking, when are you going to launch something where more people can benefit from it? And I always like to joke that I was forced into making a community and launching a community because it's been, I think, 16 or 18 months between me first announcing the community that I would do it and building a wait list, like telling people, hey, this is the wait list, this is the link, join it, and then actually launching it like day one. So I don't know if any of these three things are going to be relatable to everyone, but I hope at least one of these is. So that was my decision making, right? It was lean
Yeah,
into what I loved, then getting yourself booked out, then focusing on something else, because it wouldn't make sense to kind of split your focus and then, it's just from a business standpoint, it's not serious enough.
absolutely. And I know as a customer that even with one-on-one coaching, Yasmin had two models. One was you pay for an hour of my time, and then there was a pay for multiple hours of my time and an ongoing relationship. And these two were also at different price points. So in a way that he's also serving two different models, even if it is within the same umbrella. The point here that I'm trying to make is that you are not going to be able to please everybody when you are trying to start a business and you're trying to create a model. You want to try to find the right fit while at the same time experimenting a little bit with a different monetization model as you go along. At this point, I am looking at my business as kind of a service funnel and to see whether I can fill the gaps that are in my service funnel so that if anybody needs help, let's say with their job search in the US, then they can pick and choose which one feels right for you. Just like I picked and choose that, okay, I just want 1 hour of Yasmin's time, and then I'll join the future community as opposed to doing a long-term relationship with him. So I got to choose from multiple different options, and that's also a great way to position
Oh yeah, it's
yourself.
also very sneaky, by the way, very like psychologically sneaky. Like my whole pricing model, it's very sneaky. but it works like a charm. So that's kind of a blessing to be in, right? Even like if you go to the community landing page, you have the pricing for the year and then you have the pricing for the lifetime. And it's just a no-brainer, you know? And all the same goes for coaching compared to, one session and then comparing like the entire program and then taking that and comparing it to the community is just a matter of what you want. And I've spent a lot of time iterating and finding and landing on good pricing. But yeah, you kind of always have to increase your price as time goes by. And we're doing that always, always, always. And yeah, it's like the price is almost never the issue. It's can you actually deliver? And when you can, when there's hundreds and thousands of testimonials that are saying, yes, this person can deliver, then you have nothing to worry about. Then you can pretty much do whatever you want as long as you're passionate about it.
Awesome. So for me, I was starting at the higher tiers, and that's the reason why I did that was what I wanted to share here is that if I look at the service funnel, where I started in that funnel was I started with a low tier. So I made digital course, or I started with a digital course with the whole performance reviews thing, the whole um, how to get promoted in your company. What I assumed was that if I build it small, people will be able to pay a small price and then I'll work my way up. But it was hard to sell, it was hard to differentiate, and it was hard to make the math work without a massive reach. Where I also tripped, so this is not only where I started and made the mistake, where I also tripped was when I did make some money, I felt the audience was wrong for me. Now, some businesses have focused solely on students and have built great businesses. That was not the right fit for me. So I underestimated the audience, the importance of the audience when you are starting out. And then finally, where it clicked for me was the one on one with experienced professionals. And now that I have that kind of going, money coming in, my confidence going up, testimonials coming in, me working in this space and knowing what helps, what doesn't help, a lot of that I can now start to package and fill out the other parts of my service funnel. So another kind of a quick catalyst challenge for you. And maybe we don't need to set a timer. People here are extremely quick, which is awesome. So I want you to think about your current service-based funnel just for this exercise. You don't have to assume that this is going to be your foundational model going forward. This is just my foundational model, and I'm just asking you to test it with me right now. Think about your service funnel and the different level of commitments that people need to give to learn from you. I want you to identify one gap. Like, what is one gap in your service funnel? And where is that gap coming from? And what can you offer? You can come out of this session and say, I don't want to make that. That is completely okay. But I want you to clearly see where you can fill in the gap because the model can change. Times can change. Just like Yasmin said, he had to make a community at some point. So maybe at some point you have to make the next version of your service funnel. That's what this exercise is about. Okay.
Or we're here just sketching and hopefully people benefit from this.
This is perfect.
Yeah, just entering the funnel, from the broader,
Yeah.
cheaper, I would say, more affordable offer and then to everything else.
Yeah, Sarka says lead magnet and newsletter. That's definitely a gap. You want to try to off platform people if you can build a deeper relationship. I'm not doing a great job at the newsletter piece, but I think I am doing a good job with the lead magnets. Obviously, we can all get better. But I'm glad that that gap, you've noticed that gap. Angela says, I don't have a low ticket, low work offer. I jump straight to higher ticket offers that I bring in through my network. Great. At some point, there are some people in your network that would love to get help from you. And what kind of people are those? Can you make something for them which can exist in your ecosystem. That would be a good help for them. And again, coming from a service mindset, not only a energy mindset or a revenue mindset. I have a three-step process. Says Pooja, missing puzzle is which is my one, which I want to get into this year. Okay. I think finding out that gap combined with the monetization model will help. Khushbu high ticket program, launching a low commitment offer like a digital course. Okay. I want to close the gap with a low cost. Also need a premium offering, says Dina. Nice. Jackie, gap is no outreach because I don't like it. Have my posts and newsletter and LinkedIn newsletter. Interesting. By outreach, I think you mean outbound sales, maybe? Like you don't want to go reach people where they are. I can relate to that, and I obviously like inbound a lot more than outbound. But I did the outbound, especially when I was starting out. Angela says little time to build right now. That's great. If you're intentional about what your priority is, that's above everything else. Mansi talks about no low ticket or standardized offer done for you for every client. Okay, so few gaps there. Nathaniel, great presentation, Varun. Oh, thanks for being here. Good night. Have a nice night. Mr. Jones, I have low, mid, and high. Just have difficulty getting it to the man,
I have a
getting
question,
them.
Madhu.
Yeah,
Can you show us your funnel?
yeah. So this is the next one I that
Okay,
wanted to
there we
share.
go. You see, I feel like this is going to help a lot of people visualize whatever you're saying. So there we go. This is exactly what I was asking for. Thank you.
Yeah. So my funnel has a gap right now. So I don't have a low to mid commitment anything. So I have no commitment, which is my LinkedIn and the Beyond Grad Show podcast that I have. I have some kind of a micro commitment, which is free guides, lead magnets, newsletters. Then I do not have anything low. So I'm planning to build a AI job search prompt guide. So this is going to be a $29, $39 guide that gives AI prompts that helps you job search. The mid is the Job Leap cohort course. So I'm planning to relaunch it this year. Again, this is me iterating. Like I might come in here next year and just share the lessons with you as to what worked, what didn't work. But the point is that I am now looking at this business from a service funnel point of view and trying to have something at least that helps meet the person where they are. There will always be one flagship product that I will spend the most amount of time promoting. For me, that will become the Job Leap cohort course. What I can do is that LinkedIn can be something that I'm going to do daily. A portion of those people will go to the newsletter, will go to the guides. That is great. With the AI job search prompt guide, I'm thinking of that as a uh, downsell offer or some offer that, oh, I cannot do the cohort course. I don't have the money to pay right now. Sure, here's a guide that can still help you more than the free material that you have. And then one-on-one is the high ticket offer of people who need more help beyond the job leap cohort course. So from what I'm thinking, the gap that I'm filling, that's the job leap cohort course is going to be the one that I'm going to be promoting heavily this year to see to test that out and see whether now I can build a service funnel for this entire vertical of job search before I think about even moving down to other types of funnels. Even if I want to. If we take a look at Yasmin, Yasmin right now has been focused on LinkedIn and helping you with LinkedIn, but then inside the community, he helps you with your business, he helps you with sales. So right now it is all inside this community. So this is his vertical. And in the future, I'm sure he'll create something else. So I remember him creating a SaaS product. Yasmin, correct me if I'm wrong. You partnered with somebody to create some kind of a software as a service tool. So
Yes,
that can be
sir.
his kind of low to mid commitment product. Awesome. All right. I wanted to share that with you. A quick slide. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I wanted to share that to make 100K, you don't need a really big two stack. That's the main takeaway I want to share with this post. I have Kajabi, which I'm paying $250 a month, that hosts my website, courses, payments, email, landing pages, everything. It's like my Swiss Army knife. Then I have LinkedIn Premium, that's $70 a month. I only have that. I only pay that essentially to have a custom button, but mainly to have people be able to send me a DM. So that's the reason why I have that. And then around $20 a month each for Google Workspace, AuthorUp, Claude, Grammarly, and Canva. So about a total burn rate of $4,020 a year, and that's what I use only to get to 100K. And now I'm starting to use a little bit more tools, but that's because I'm trying to go into Instagram and stuff like that. But so far, this has been my burn rate with my business. All right. Oh, one thing I did not mention that I should is that this is just talking about tools. I have invested a lot in learning. That is something that I heavily invest in right from the get-go, and that is a lot more. So this is not just, don't just remove two stack and say, okay, that's my net revenue. There's a lot that more that goes into this. All right. Moving on to mistakes and misconceptions. One thing that I wanted to share that Yasmin pointed out is that look at the dates and look at the time it's taken. So I shared the product building time, but I didn't really share the entrepreneurship timeline. And I would love to know once I've gone through this slide or during whether this is relatable to you or not. It took me 11 years to get from I want to build something to I build something. So 2014, 2015, I was buying all of these courses from entrepreneurs like Ramit Sethi, Noah Kagan, Seth Godin, Wes Cow. All of these people were teaching you how to build businesses, teaching you the game of traffic and getting people and creating digital products. Seth Godin and Wes Cow taught me how to ship products before you actually overthink. But I still ended up overthinking quite a lot. So from 2014, I did my first workshop at my university in 2017. Then it took me another year to write my first blog post. And then for the 5 years after writing my first blog post and a few blog posts after that, I was not doing anything in public. My first LinkedIn post with intention of building a business was in 2023. 2024, that was the first dollar, November 2023 to be precise, but I mentioned 2024. First dollar I earned outside of my engineering work. And then from 2024 to 2026, that's what it took me to earn the 100K from LinkedIn. So I went a really long time, 11 years to get to this point. So there is a lot of indecision that went into it, especially between 2014 and 2023. The only reason why I wanted to share this is to just show that maybe you are faster than me, which is great. I wish I was that. Or maybe you are along this journey with me, and I just wanted to share this with you. There were three big mistakes that I want to point out. And again, these aren't lessons that I've solved completely. These are patterns that I continue to catch and I continue to improve myself on. Number one is overthinking instead of testing. Now, I have tested multiple things as I have shared. I still tend to overthink quite a lot. One prime example is this job leap cohort that I'm trying to rebuild. I've been sitting on it for the past 8 months or so. I could have easily created this in the second half of last year, but I've just been overthinking it. How much AI to use? What is going to be the pricing? What is going to be the model? Is it going to be a community or is it going to be a cohort? The overthinking is endless. So that is one mistake I keep on doing. And the only reason why I wanted to share this is because I have only learned from data. So this is me trying to tell myself as well that, dude, it's time to kind of ship things and learn from it. The second mistake that I've made was trying to be stoic. Now, with a lot of the theoretical training, and I practice my spiritual exercises and stuff like that, I feel I'm very stoic. The entrepreneurship journey has been a lot more emotionally charged than my engineering and corporate journey. It's just your identity is attached so closely. You are doing more risky things. You're putting yourself out there. You don't know if people will buy or not. I have had experiences where people have not bought anything. So it just sucks. The whole thing just sucks. And there are really good days and there are really bad days. So I thought that I'm going to be stoic through this all. And that was a big mistake because every time I felt emotions, I felt that I was not doing it correctly. Whereas I think the emotional journey is just part of it. And you need a lot of emotional support. I would love to kind of ask Yasmin what his emotional support looks like. For me, it is my parents, my spouse, my kids. I have even tried therapy, and then there is spiritual practice as well. So one big mistake is trying to be stoic through all of this. The
I
last
can
one is
I
over
can give you
relying
my
on
answer if
impression.
you want it now. For me, the answer is
Yes, I would love
yeah.
that. This is the perfect time.
Yeah, it's prayer, honestly, and I feel like this answer will never change for anything in my life. I mean, everyone probably knows this. If you don't, like, I'm a Muslim, so praying 5 times a day for us is a must. It's not even a choice; it's a must. So it's a way of life, and it basically keeps you grounded throughout the entire day. It's not like you have to pray 5 times at once, all at once. You have to do it during 5 very specific times of the day so that you are quite literally, mentally and physically grounded. And it is so beneficial for stress management, for whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, you just have to pause during the day. And that is my escape. That is how I'm able to always, just breathe, stop, rethink, and then just make the bestest and quickest decision ever. It's prayer. And I feel like for a lot of different people, this version of mine is probably going to be different in their lives. But if you can find consistent times during the day to literally just pause, breathe, and stay grounded and remind yourself to stay grounded, whatever that looks like for you, it is the best way to just design your life. It's not just a coping mechanism, it is literally a lifestyle.
Love that. By the way, it begs a follow-up, Yasmin. Is that maybe you've also evolved as an entrepreneur and at this point you have decent amount of success and confidence going behind you. Was this journey, the entrepreneurial journey, also an emotional journey for you?
Oh, absolutely, man. I feel like I covered this answer. Where's my camera? I covered this answer in a recent podcast. Like a lot of people have no idea why I even joined LinkedIn in the first place. Like a lot of people still don't know this answer. And whenever I share it, I feel like I only shared it like once in the past, and then in this recent podcast for the like publicly first time, it's because I got divorced. And I say this to everyone when I'm speaking to my friends, when people are asking me for advice, right, going through something similar, I always tell people like, I would wish the worst for my enemy, but I would not wish them to get divorced. That
Mhm.
is how painful that experience is. And me having gone through that, I went to LinkedIn afterwards and I just started sharing. Like that's why I'm so hell-bent on openly sharing, just finding that connection with people, with the world. And that's why I came to LinkedIn. And obviously it worked out, but yeah, it was, something that I don't know, it was rooted in a much deeper experience. And I feel like for a lot of people, even this community is almost like an escape. They find a place where they feel heard and understood and valued. Inside all of that madness, they feel valued and they understand that they're not crazy. This journey that they're on is not supposed to be super fast, and not everyone is real when they're flashing those Lamborghinis and all those screenshots and Stripe invoices and all those numbers. Like you really find a place where you feel like damn, I'm not alone on this journey. And yeah, for me, like that version was first coming to LinkedIn and then obviously growing it into this global cult-like movement that it is today. And I'm very proud of the movement that I've built. And yeah, here we are. Look at, I mean, like just look at us, all of us. It feels like a private place, but just saying it out loud, 72 countries, you realize that it's purely global. And it's like I don't even know how we stop this now. Like genuinely, I have no idea how, if anyone would ever to say like, how do you stop it? How do you put a pin in this? I'm like, I have no idea. It is what it is now, and we're here, and we're just helping everyone around the world, and I'm just happy to be one part of it, you know? So there you go. I feel like the answer kind of took me in three different directions, but there you go. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This journey is wild, and sometimes you're in it for your reasons only, and not everyone has to understand it, but once you do find that space and place in your people who do understand you, keep them close and just yeah, stay on that journey for as long as you can.
Awesome. That is such a nice sharing of experience that it almost feels like if I talk about the third one about impressions, it feels facetious
No,
as
do
compared
it,
to
man. It
what
is
you
what it
talk
is.
about.
Let's wrap it up with something more data driven, not traumatic, damn it.
So the last one was over relying on impressions. I think one thing I learned early on that Yasmin used to mention is that, hey, I don't write a lot of bottom of funnel posts. I think what I understood that to be was that, oh, I shouldn't write bottom of funnel posts. So a lot of my posts were top of the funnel kind of resources and tools and frameworks, and middle of the funnel like cheat sheets and webinars that I think I played on my back foot, to use a cricketing analogy with most people don't understand. But I was playing kind of a, again, I don't know the right analogy, but other than the cricket one, but I think that I should have written more bottom of the funnel posts. I should have highlighted a lot of more of my successes that my students have had, my mentees have had. And that is something that I'm trying to change this year as well. Is because those posts don't get a lot of impressions. And I over relied on impressions. That's why I didn't write those posts, but I think that was a mistake as well that I'm trying to learn from. So at the end, if I have to kind of leave you with three things, and I'm sure everybody would have their own takeaways from this, is that one, I always try to test. I spend overthinking, theorizing, but I always prefer testing. Two, I'm thinking of this creation of a service-based funnel, and that's helping me become the kind of entrepreneur I want to be. And the third one is patience. I still have to share that to myself. Took me 11 years to get to this point. It took me 3 years of LinkedIn writing to get to this point. So those were the three things that I would love to leave with you after the end of this session. That's it. I hope that I was able to cover and give you guys a lot of insights about what I did to get to the 100K mark. I would love to kind of ask you guys, going back to what I started with, right? What was the intention of you spending this time here? I would like to ask you now, based on that intention, what is your one key takeaway that you got from this session? And then Yasmin, depending on how much you think we want to spend some time. I know there were some questions in the community that I have screenshotted over the next few slides, or we can spend some time answering questions here
Do
as
you
well.
want to first rapid fire through the questions in the community and then rapid fire through the questions here on the call?
I think that
Because I
let's
also
do
want to be
that.
mindful of your time. I'm thinking like the next 15 minutes, that's how much we have for
Yeah,
the rest of the call. In these 15 minutes, can we cover the few questions from the community that we've screenshotted and then take a few from the audience? That works?
works absolutely.
Thank you
I'm
very
also looking at some of the takeaways that are coming through, and I love that the openness, the transparency, it has been appreciated by everybody. Changing the mindset from service funnel to sales funnel was helpful. Um, then I think I see pricing structure, transparency, use of the funnel has been helpful. Real, relatable. Thank you so much, Merhavit. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly or not. But let me go through the rapid fire right now. Yasmin, feel free to add anything, obviously.
Yes, sir.
Add or just share what you think. Building credibility from zero, Valentine asks, what's the most important thing when you don't yet have a lot of credibility and proof? I face that. I think you first have to start sharing a lot of your frameworks, a lot of your thinking, a lot of the contrarian point of views you have, a spiky point of view. You have to share frameworks that are helpful, that people can just take your free stuff and find a lot of value from it. That helps you build early credibility. Then the following you create will also build credibility. And then you'll be able to share experiences like these. Like you will be called in really good places to speak about what you have been doing. You'll have student successes, you'll have testimonial. That's how you build credibility.
I will just add, if you don't have any social proof, any testimonials, or any clients whatsoever, like zero projects, your opinions are your best social proof because your opinions are what drives trust. And ultimately, it also pushes the kind of client you don't want to work with away. So your opinions are your best social proof in the beginning.
Awesome. On showing up without spending hours, right? How to be on LinkedIn without spending hours? Like Yasmin, I have always done my commenting. I have always written my posts. So I do spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. I think I would say uh, right now I'm spending anywhere between an hour on LinkedIn a day, an hour or an hour and a half. Some ways that I have done a detox to myself. I don't have the app on my phone. I only can go to it using my computer. That's been the biggest change that I have bought. And then I do something called curated feeds. So I have created different feeds. Please message me if you want to know more about that. It's like there will be a feed for recruiters and it will have 20 recruiters that I follow and I just comment on their posts and then I comment on my posts. So I've created different types of curated feeds that are specific to my niche that helps me reduce my time that I spend on LinkedIn.
I will just contribute very quickly. How do you spend time on LinkedIn without spending the entire day on it? Time yourself and put it in your calendar. To this day, I have my LinkedIn hour, my LinkedIn time as part of my actual work calendar. And no, that work calendar is no longer in use, but that time slot is still giving me alerts every single day, Monday through Thursday at 12:20. I get a notification that starting 12:30 to 1:30 for that one full hour, I need to stay on LinkedIn and comment. So to this day, I have that LinkedIn hour booked, and it's always giving me alerts, so I never miss it.
Awesome. Next one. How often would you recommend to make CTAs in your post, linked to a lead magnet versus just giving value in the post? I don't have a really good answer for
As
this
much as you
question,
want, as
Valentine.
frequent as you want, no one can tell you otherwise, not even me. And it's
Yeah.
about Valentin, if you can go to the inside the community and just use the search button in the corner, you can literally type in like links inside posts or URLs inside posts. I have written about this a few times. In fact, actually, I'll post about this in the morning in the community. Don't do anything. In the morning, I'll write a guide about how to add links correctly to your posts so that it doesn't always affect your impressions because people believe that adding links by default impacts impressions. It does not. It never has. It never will. It's how you add those links. So I will publish that guide early in the morning.
Great. My answer is 50% of my posts will have links to it, either to a lead magnet or to a webinar of some kind. And I'm trying to do more bottom of the funnel posts. So in the future, they'll have links to my programs as well. Closing the sale. I think Sandra talked about this. I'm struggling a lot with closing the sale, and I asked her a few questions about what conversion rate that she's getting. My conversion rate for high ticket coaching is about 10 to 20%. Some months is 10%, some months is 20. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I would always love to get better at it. So closing a sale, a lot of it has to do with the offer, and a lot of it has to do with your strategy during the call. It's not a rapid fire answer, but I know that I'm chatting in the DMs with her. So I'll share my experiences
Yeah,
with
I have a
her as
rapid
well as
fire
Yasmin.
answer. Sandra, go to our
Yeah,
resources and find inside the master classes. There is a master class called How to Master the Sales Call, or actually Sales Call Mastery. And it is 1 hour and 46 minutes long. I have just put it as the first video for the sales and DMs category. So go to master classes, sales and DMs, first master class in that category, mastering the sales call, my master class, no guests. And it explains so much on what to do on the sales calls before, after, so on and so forth. So please watch that. Highly recommend it. Also goes for everyone else.
great. I mentioned that to her, and she said she's watched the video. So that's good
Mm.
too. I think she might have questions for you as well, Yasmin.
Okay.
All right, three questions on early traction. Your service funnel mindset makes sense once there's enough reach to feed it. What did you do specifically in the early stages to generate your first paying clients for LinkedIn? I shared the entire story of how different products that I used to create my first paying clients. Service funnel mindset definitely is something that you will grow into as you grow in your business. It does not necessarily mean that you don't have something like that in the beginning. So at the very least, I would feel that if I have to do this back again, then my service funnel would look like no commitment LinkedIn, some commitment, micro commitment is lead magnets, email courses, free email courses. I would have a low commitment product for somebody to just pay me a little bit to make their life easier. This can be a PDF of some kind, it can be a small course about a subsection of what you are doing. And I'm not planning to make any money from it, but it's something that I can refer to, and also something where people can get used to paying money for the service that they want. And then I'll have the core product that you have. It can be a high ticket coaching, it can be a group coaching, whatever that core product is.
I will just add,
Second,
I will just add to the first one, sorry, just really quickly. Be everywhere. At the very beginning, I feel like a lot of people underestimate this. It's like you have to give that extra 10%, that extra 15%, that extra 100%. Be everywhere. It doesn't matter where it is. At the very beginning, Vadon was partnering with Maven, Maven.com, right? Doing cohorts there. And even though it flopped, he was still there. The name was still there. The exposure was still there. The connection to all the other cohort members was still there. So just do whatever you can to expand your visibility and expand your network. And this is why I have the challenge in the community to constantly, every single day, find at the very least 5 new people in completely new networks, people you've never seen, because this gives you the most reach long term. And you just place yourself in new places every single day. And that is crucial because no algorithm, no platform, and more importantly, no other person will do that for you. So just place yourself in as many places as possible: collaborations, lives, podcasts, carousel collabs, post collabs, tags, comments, anywhere you can. Do as much as you can at the very beginning and then slow down once you have at least some engagement back and consistent performance of your posts.
love that. Number two, out of the monetization models that contributed for the first 100K, which one produced the fastest return relative to the effort it required? One-on-one coaching. That is the fastest return relative to the effort. And the one that took longest to pay off, I still haven't figured out cohorts yet, or still haven't figured out courses yet, but I hope to share more about that in the future. Number three, when you're building towards your first 100K, how did you decide what to lead with on LinkedIn? What's the cost of getting that decision wrong? I lead with multiple different things, as you said, different transformations of the courses or of the programs, different audiences. So you have to test a lot of different things in the beginning till you kind of get some early traction. The cost of getting the decision wrong is the cost is time. If you don't have a job, I had a job when I was starting out. So if you don't have a job, the cost is also living expenses. At the same time, I think there is a lot more to gain. You can only learn from testing different things and getting it wrong than overthinking, which I have mentioned that I do. Yasmin, your thoughts?
I mean, you have shown us your entire journey, that timeline of your career and every mess up you've had on the journey and all the different iterations of your offer and how you constantly just juggled the more expensive offer, tiers of different pricing. I feel like people need to understand that that's just how it works. It's not just one thing moving the needle. It's over time you figuring out pieces that move the needle, right? It's a journey of figuring it out. And sometimes a good coach can actually tell you, and because they can see things that you can't, because they've been on that same journey and they've seen other hundreds of people on that same journey, they can literally just tell you, dude, this is exactly what you need to do. This is meant for you. This is how your brain thinks. You don't see it, but this is what's good for you. And sometimes it's just a matter of iterating enough so that things start to move and then you start to scale. And like you said, for you, it was first, courses, it didn't work. Then cohorts, didn't work. Then one-on-one coaching. Oh, we love that. Then we had a different offer for the coaching. Then more pricing, then a different type of coaching, right? Program. So it's a journey. It's never just one thing that kind of just, oh, it moved a needle and now I'm going to keep doing this. Nope. You're always going to be iterating and consider like each pricing change a different iteration. And also, the second you increase your pricing, you kind of have to look back at the offer and say, oh, am I now providing enough or do I need to add more? Do I need to restructure this? Does it need to be a different length, different commitment, things of that nature? So, yeah, it's iterations. I feel like the answer is always going to be iterations, and people just need to understand that iterating your offer is just the most natural thing in business, and everyone does it. Just look at any product. If you go to a supermarket, if you go to a fast food store, if you go to a freaking restaurant, if you go to a clothing store, the prices are changing, if not daily, then weekly or monthly. And for service providers, it's really not that different because demand drives change. And whatever you're changing, right, you're chasing. And are you chasing more money? Are you chasing more conversions? Are you chasing more stability? That's going to be reflected in your offer, right? Depending on obviously what the offer is. But yeah, long answer again, but yeah, I feel like we just need to give people all the juice. Yeah.
Solid. But Corinne was the one who asked that question. Thank you so much. Questions, all the three. Thank you so much. They were really, really insightful.
There we go. I need to put my WAP hat back on. There you go. Also, guys, Manu, first and foremost, I just want to say, genuinely, this has been since the very beginning of the community, one of my favorite master classes. I will say definitely. I don't want to give numbers, but top five all-time master classes we've had in the community. I'm genuinely saying this because it's just been so real and so actionable. And I feel like when people see all the pieces, you have left no pieces out. So thank you for that. Really love that. Clearly worked on a presentation
Wow.
to, yeah, genuinely mean this.
Gave me chills.
I just texted someone literally on WhatsApp and I said 10 out of 10 masterclass. And I don't say that often. So thank you for that. Genuinely, anytime you want to come back and talk to us about the rest of the journey, because you just said you were about to iterate again and test new things out, let us know. But yeah, for this, just want to say directly for me, thank you and in the name of the community.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Gave me literal chills. So I appreciate you saying that.
Hey man, appreciate you. I feel like for all the other questions that are here, guys, Varun is open for coaching. So if you want more help from him, you know where to find him, LinkedIn, or he's part of LinkUp. So you can just text him on WAP inside the community. Anything else you might want to add before we leave, Varun? Because anything you still want to share is going to be gold.
No, I think I gave everything what I could give around this topic, and I really appreciate you creating this community, me being a part of it, me learning from it, and now sharing some of the things that I have learned in this process. So appreciate that.
Hey man.
Yasmin, I would love, yeah, please ask me questions on Whoop. I do not have a entrepreneurship coaching program as such or coaching. I don't, I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions you have. And yeah, I would love to get, I know I'm going to get a recording of this, Yasmin.
Yes,
So
sir.
I will have your comments on there. But I would love to get a recording of the chat as well because I haven't been able to follow it as much while presenting. But there have been so great comments that I would love to kind of look back and read through.
We'll send you that. We'll send you that. Don't worry. Thank you. Varun,
Awesome. Thank
our
you so much,
pleasure,
Yasmin.
genuinely, to everyone who participated, who asked the questions and who participated in the exercises. Thank you. And yeah, see you next week for the next live call. And yeah, we're just gonna keep doing these. This was our first case study masterclass. Varun set the bar high, man, genuinely. So we're still gonna have more. We already have Angela Marie D'Antonio on the calendar for the next case study masterclass. And we're gonna be doing more of these during the year because I had a hunch that this was going to be useful for everyone. You guys also said that we would love to see more real world examples. And here we are. We're going to keep doing this. If everyone wants the kitchen, if actually anyone wants to contribute and feel like, hey, my story could be useful for this sort of format, I would love to host a masterclass, text me. Let me know. And then I'll decide if it's a yes or no. In any other case, Manu, thank you once more. Genuinely appreciate you. And to the community, see you in the next one.
I highly recommend people pitching yourself to Yasmin. That's what I did, and that's where this session came from. So I definitely recommend
Here
it.
we go. Appreciate you guys. Goodbye for now.